new series called Mindsets. And this is volume 1. I'm going to share something with y'all that I believe that I learned, or whatever the case may be. And it's been from watching normal media members, so on and so forth, people that we watch, follow, so on and so forth, right? I think I learned the difference between being rich and being wealthy. And I've watched several people in the industry, or whatever the case may be, but I've watched how their mindsets changed. And the main one that I'm going to point to and utilize as an example is Jay-Z. I'm going to reflect on his music as well as his life, his appearance, and what it is that he actually does that's totally different from what he used to do. So in my opinion, the difference between the two mindsets is simply this. With one, which is being rich, you have to prove your status. You have to be showing. You have to be flashy. You have to be, you have to have all types of evidence that you are rich. You have to show off. You have to be flashy. You have to be doing all types of different things to prove what you have. You have to look like money. Whereas when you are wealthy, you get to be wealthy because you stop trying to, you don't prove that you're rich. You don't have to have the flashiest things or whatever the case may be. How you get to being wealthy is actually living like you're poor. It's really when you've had so many things that you're no longer impressed by new shit. That's generally how a person gets to a wealthy state of mind. The other difference to the mindset is when you are rich, your money doesn't necessarily work for you. It works for your image. When you are wealthy, you are putting money into certain situations that actually work for you. And I think the biggest, most visible example of the change in the mindsets would be Jay-Z, as well as many other rappers and artists or whatever the case may be. But I just wanted to utilize Jay-Z as an example. You see, there was a time that you wouldn't find Jay-Z, you wouldn't be able to see Jay-Z outside without a $200 throwback, 2 or 3 big chains on, rings, $100 jeans, crispy Air Force Ones that you could tell never been worn before the time that he had them on at that point, in some type of Maybach or some type of nice car or whatever the case may be. And that's when he was rich. But now that he's wealthy, just on a normal day when they're able to catch pictures of Jay-Z, you may see him with a sweater on and some jeans and some sandals. His hair used to have to be cut every 3, maybe 4 days, sometimes probably every 2 days, or even every day at some point when he was having the rich mindset. But the wealthy Jay-Z has what? Dreads. Dreads that don't have to be maintained consistently. Dreads that kind of look like what they're going to look like pretty much no matter what you do. The old Jay-Z had to, the rich Jay-Z had to release music every year. Whereas the new wealthy Jay-Z releases music pretty much whenever he feels like it. And even artistically speaking, you can go back to the In My Lifetimes and all of those things. You can go back and watch the rich Jay-Z talk about a lot of things, and a lot of material, worldly things that he's purchased. Things like cars, things like jewelry, things like Rolexes, things like G-Wagons, things like we don't drive X5s, we give them the baby mamas. Basically to say that an X5 is nothing. But the wealthy Jay-Z talks about paintings, artworks, collecting things, so on and so forth. Things that make his money work for him. He talks about properties, he talks about all these different artistic things that will be more or worth more after you buy it than it was when you bought it. So as we talk about this on the first installment of Mindsets, let me introduce a new thought process to you. Imagine if we had the wealthy mindset without having to go through the rich mindset. Imagine if we stopped trying to impress upon those who are around us and focus on basically having a lifestyle that is better from the inside rather than the outside. Imagine if comfortability and stability were our hallmarks of how we live our lives. Imagine if everything we are and everything that we are seen to be wasn't measured based upon what we spend. Just a thought. God bless. Show off. Mindsets Part 2. Good evening, ladies. So listen. I've been noticing a few things, and today I wanted to talk to the ladies. Just talk to the ladies right now. I wanted to talk to the ladies out there who are utilizing those voiceovers, and I just wanted to tell y'all the truth about it. I don't know if y'all realize it, but this thing is successful because there are real people on the other side of the screen that are watching you. They want to know you. They want to understand who you are, so on and so forth. I don't think these voiceovers are really that helpful for y'all. It gives the appearance that you're hiding behind something. It gives the appearance that you don't know yourself. It gives the appearance that you all are cut from the same cloth. You see, understand that millions of other women are utilizing those same voiceovers. And to be honest with y'all, most of those voiceovers aren't really that flattering. A lot of those voiceovers actually make you sound like horrible people. Horrible people with a separatist mindset who will drop anybody for no reason, and they're probably hard to get along with, and they're probably hard to be around, and so on and so forth, and that they always are out here searching for perfection, and if you don't show them perfection, they will bail on you. That's what a lot of these voiceovers that you all are attaching to your images make you sound like. It makes you sound like a conquest, even to people who are just seeking to be your friend and to know who you are. For some reason, we find so much power in the ability to be alone and ability to not have to observe what's going on in the world, because it's all about us. And that's what most of those voiceovers completely say about you. So when I say that these voiceovers make you sound like a conquest and make you sound like something that's just so hard to be around, this could have people playing the short game with you rather than playing the long game, because they can't see a future in being your friend. They can't see a future in being, because at a moment's notice, you could get rid of them. They couldn't see a future at coming at you in a way that's respectful or whatever the case may be. They're trying to get whatever they can out of you with the short game. Because when you are utilizing those voiceovers, do you truly know who you are? It seems that someone else who made that voiceover seems to know you better than you know yourself. And I believe that you deserve better. So why don't you tell us who you are? And better yet, why don't you show us who you are? You deserve better. God bless. Show off. The most important word to your relationship is going to be the word no. And not necessarily the word no to your partner. Not necessarily when your partner tells you no. It's going to be your ability to say no to the world. It's the most important word to your relationship that you're going to ever find yourself using. Your relationships don't work because you don't know how to say no to the world. Things go bad in your life because you don't know how to say no to the world. Things end up fucked up because you don't know how to say no to the world. The world serves you up its idea of what's right, and you follow the world. You follow social media, you follow these TV shows, you follow the conversations that you have with your friends, and you say, that sounds good, I'm going to try to be like that. You go out into these places. The world is serving you up temptation. You may be in a relationship, but there's temptation all over the place. And you flirt with that temptation. You play with it. You interact with it, so on and so forth. All while looking that person in the face and saying, trust me. But interacting with that temptation is untrustworthy. What is it that changes from the point of you being single to being in a relationship? Because doing it properly, you can't continue to do single people shit on a regular basis. The world has served you that information to actually believe that you can continue. You met me like this, that shit actually works. But the whole purpose is to take you off the market, so now that you don't act like that because I'm here. What the fuck do you need out there when I'm here? You can't tell the world no. You can watch it all over the place not working, and you can't tell the world no. If you're out partying all the time and you're in a relationship, how many times can you keep flirting with temptation before eventually the no's or whatever the case may be, how long do you think you can keep playing with that shit before eventually you meet someone that you like enough to say, okay? The world dictates to you that you should continue to be able to do this and everything is going to be okay. It is necessary for you to say no to those temptations. Because temptation is not going to just present itself when you are at the club. It's going to present itself when you're out and about, when you're at the store, the grocery store, when you are at the gym, wherever it is that you may go. No is the most important word that you're going to have to use. Even with your friends, your homies who are telling you that you should do this and you should live this way and you should do this in your relationship and all of that stuff. You're going to have to be able to tell the world no. The problem is too many of y'all got it flip-flopped. Tell the world yes to everything, and you tell your partner no to everything, and you still expect them to be good to you and add to your life. God bless. Show off. White woman, I love you. Love you to death. And it is for that reason that I'm coming to tell you exactly what I am about to say. Do y'all know how much money the world makes on you not loving the most beautiful thing that God created on God's green earth? You. The most beautiful thing on earth is you. The way you landed here. What prompted me to do Mindsets Volume 4 is the other day I was on Facebook and I was checking out some of my friends. And on there, I saw so many of my Facebook friends with AI generated pictures on there. Pictures where they take your face, they slim it up, and then they put it on the body of someone else. And I couldn't believe how many of my Facebook friends actually had these same pictures with the same body on it, the same clothes, the same tattoos, and I could not believe that. So let's talk about it for a second. Let's play a game called Is It Worth It? Make that, is it really worth it? Hear me out. BBLs. It's poisonous to your system. You're going to allow someone to cut on your body, invade your body, to add poison into your body that will start leaking into your system. Is it really worth it? The same thing with implants. Is it really worth it? Ladies, you have the thickest, most beautiful, fullest lips on planet Earth. And it's not enough. So you allow people to poke holes in your lips and add what's called filler until they start to look like inflated balloons that never pop. Also, by the way, adding poison to your body. changing your identity with makeup until you look like a completely different person. So much so that when this makeup starts getting into your pores and your real skin starts bumping up, it becomes necessary for you to have to pile on that makeup. I ask you, is it really worth it? Those damn lashes that you have to utilize glue every single day of your life. Every damn day of your life. And put that shit near your eyes, which undoubtedly goes into your eyes and at some point could possibly cause enough wear and tear that it fucks up your vision. Once again, is it really worth it? I see a lot of women out there who push back on the fact that we love who you are, not this image that you're trying to be. That we love how God created you. I want y'all to know that there are a lot of you ladies out there who have a man who adores the hell out of you as you are. And yet you go out there and risk your life, risk your money, or his money, or a combination of the two. And risk your life make these enhancements, all so you can attract the attention of others, including other men, when you already have one at home who adores you. You allow these people to cut on your body. You allow these people to put this false image of perfection that's not even really perfection. And you allow yourself to be brainwashed by each other to believe that you have to go out and do this, that, A, B, C, and D in order to obtain this image that the world wants you to see you. And even when you go to the grocery store and you don't have none of that shit on, you get the attention of the dudes that love you the way that you came. They love you in the package that God put you in. And as we tell y'all that, you know what y'all refer to? Instagram. Well, these men are clicking likes on their pictures and so on and so forth. All I'm saying is, you don't have to be somebody else. We love you. We need you to love you. God bless. Shalom. So, this is Mindsets Volume 5, and yes, this is devoted to you. You will remain nameless. And to those of you who are out there, this is also devoted to you. Now, I will come back a little bit later on and tell y'all exactly why and how we got to this point of even having this conversation. But earlier I had the pleasure or displeasure, however you want to look at it, of being invited to someone's live based off of a post that I posted earlier. So to answer your question of why it's looked at differently from man to women, the answer is your body is more important than mine. My body was built to be a lifter, a builder, to get it out the mud, to be able to put things on my shoulders. That's why my shoulders are built so broad. I was created by God to do certain things, to be able to go out and get it out the mud and bring it home. Whereas your body was created to be a temple. Your body was created to be the first home that life actually knows. Your body was made to be the first protection from the outside world that our children actually sees. Our children spend their first 10 months, 9 to 10 months, 40 weeks of existence inside your body. And me as a man, I should not have to explain that to the nurturing spirit of a woman. So, ladies and gentlemen, how we actually got here to this conversation was Ugly Money Niche, or however you say his name. He posted a video of him talking to a young lady, and she was asking, why can't a woman cheat? And he explained it with a glass of water, and he said, putting your hands around people can walk by and touch your glass, so on and so forth, of water, and you can wipe that off and you still may consume that water. But if everybody walked past and put their finger in the water, you probably are not going to drink that water. So this can be looked at in regards to cheating, and it can be looked at in regards of the body count conversation. Ma'am, for those 9 or 10 months that you carry a child, that child is inside of you, consuming everything that is in you and everything that is left within you. And he or she undoubtedly does not know to pick this up and put it back because it's not conducive for them. When you allow these things to toxify your body, when you allow people entering your body to toxify your body, this is what you subject the children that live in you to. Ma'am, when I first came on your live, you know what there was? There was a young lady up there talking about a boy named Dominique that she was talking to that she could no longer talk to because she believed that he was part of the rainbow community. She could not talk to him because she believed that someone was making entry into him. She said that his mama must have known because she gave him the right name. She gave him a universal name. This is what I walked into. So let me ask you this. Don't you see that as being a little bit hypocritical? The point that I'm making is you tried to convince me that it shouldn't matter. The first thing I did was ask you, would you rather sleep with someone who was experienced in having sex or a 35-year-old virgin? And none of your answers were, it doesn't matter. The 4 women that were on your panel, none of your answers were, it doesn't matter. You got the information and you made a choice. Now, that's what I walked in on. Furthermore, the guy that you brought up to challenge me came up there saying everything that you wanted to hear. Would later go on to say, there's 100 women that I have on my live that can vouch for me that I'm a lover boy. And you referred to him as, now that's a man. And he would later on go on to say that, and you ignored it. But what did you say about body counts again? When I left, I heard y'all talking about leaving, and here's the truth. The man that you brought up to challenge me had been with at least 100 girls by his own admission. But that's a real man. But you said that you would rather be with someone who is sexually inexperienced. When I left out your room the first time I came back, I heard y'all talking about why you should be the one to lead, and y'all were waiting for us to lead. The fact of the matter is, the reason why you are not fit to lead is because you are not willing to give your life in place of the person who you are leading. And the reason why you are still waiting for us to lead is because you were never fit to follow this generation, the last generation, and the generation before that. You are not fit to follow properly. God bless. Show. What is leadership? Welcome to Volume 6 of Mindsets. What is leadership? We toss that word around as if it's very easy, but the one thing I know it's not is easy. So when you think of leadership, what are words that are associated with leadership, right? Words like integrity, intelligence should be at the front of the list. Right up there with those words should be words like accountability, responsibility, should be right neck and neck with those words. But then there is courage and bravery. When you are looking for a leader, someone to lead you, or whatever the case may be, you should be looking for someone who has integrity and they move righteously, someone who's intelligent, someone who's smart, able to decipher things, able to figure out things very quickly on their toes, someone who's willing to take accountability for their decisions, and someone who's willing to take responsibility for those who are following them. So are you really equipped to be the leader? Well, let's move on to those other two words. Bravery and courage. You see, bravery and courage are essential for a leader. Why? Because if you're not willing to do what I'm about to say, you aren't built to be a leader. Are you willing to trade your life in order for those people who follow you to live on? Are you willing to stand on what you believe in your decision making so much so that you're willing to give up breathing in order for those that you love and care about and you have chosen to lead them to continue on in a righteous path? If you have spent your life making decisions for the betterment of yourself while disregarding others, you are not built to be a leader. We're going to see hit dogs holler the more they show this to people. But I'm going to venture out and say that there is a large segment of you out there who claim that, well, they should let us lead. They should let us lead. They should let us lead. This is one thing that I heard on a live yesterday. They should let us lead, and we should be the ones leading, and so on and so forth. We've been waiting for them to lead. And I come to tell you that you're not built for it. You see, for the last 60 years, it has been you that has led. You're not ready, and you never will be. This is why certain entities employ you with the ability to call the shots amongst the family. And I know y'all don't want to hear this truth and this reality. They allow you to call the shots on whether the family continues on, if it goes on, so on and so forth, to take the real leader out the household. Because the world that you live in is not a result of you waiting for us to lead. It's a result of you actually being given the keys to be the leaders of the household. Whatever you're looking at and you have a dismay with it is a result of you, that group of women, being the leaders amongst most of our family structure, most of our households. This is the results. You, in fact, are willing to give up everything, and I mean everything, that affects everything around you in order for you to sustain your own personal happiness. And once again, it's not your fault. It's just who you are. It is your genetic footprint to do so. A real true leader can never disregard what's going on with the people around them in order to satisfy their own needs. Your rejection of the patriarchal structure embodies that. Because you believe that it's fun and games up here where we are, where God placed us. God, man, women, children. But there's nothing but responsibility and accountability up here where we are. There's absolutely no fun and games up here in that space. Because even more than being responsible for myself, I am responsible for those who should be following me. As important to someone having all of those things when it comes to being a leader, it is also imperative that they have someone who's willing to follow them properly in order for them to be able to serve their purpose properly. And the formula is real simple. If you can blame the results of what you have done as the leader for the last 60 years on the absence of us, even though you may play an intricate role in the absence of us, then there's no integrity to your story. There's no intelligence to your story. There's no accountability for what has happened, and there's no responsibility for what has happened. And where is the bravery and the courage if you are afraid to tell the full story? God bless. Show off. What's going on, everybody? This is good right here. This is a good clip. I want y'all to check this out, all right?
And T-Bone. My husband abruptly ended our honeymoon, and he cut it short and flew us back home, all because he saw on my phone that I sent a final goodbye text to my ex-husband on the morning of our wedding. The only thing I said in the text message was, "This is my final goodbye, and I wish you all the best." It was just my way of closing that chapter for good because I was getting married. What is so wrong with what I said? It ain't like I said I will always love you or I'll see you soon. I said goodbye, and it was closure. My husband said the fact that I was still texting my ex about anything the morning of our wedding is enough to cut our honeymoon short. He has also been acting really weird towards me since we returned from our honeymoon, and he says he needs to rethink things and advise me to do the same. Like, WTF, what is happening here? I didn't do anything wrong. He doing all of this over a dumbass text message, and I told a man goodbye, not hello. This is insane. What should I do? I'm almost about to say F it, because if this is what I get for doing the right thing, then what's the point of trying to do the right in the first place?
Check it out. Here's my outlook on it. And it all comes down to perspectives, right? And you have the perspective of someone who feels a type of way because he's unaware that what appears to be is actually there. And you have the other person who is not willing to accept responsibility, accountability, and say, you know, I understand where you're coming from. I made a mistake. My bad. I'm sorry. Now, throwing that thing out there to say, oh, well, why are you all in her business, or why are you going through her phone and being all in her business? You know, once you get married, you don't have no business no more. It's our business. There's no just you. It's always we and us. So privacy to your phone is no more. Furthermore, when someone finds something in your phone, that is not a proper defense. It is not a proper defense to say, why are you looking through my phone anyway? Well, the reason why I was looking through your phone was right here. This shit right here that I found. When she says in the letter, close the chapter for good, that means all the way up until now, the day of the wedding, she has operated with options. That means we dated, that chapter wasn't closed. We got into a relationship, that chapter wasn't closed. We got engaged, you still didn't close that chapter. You know what that means and what that signifies for the husband? That even though this is a man that she left, her ex-husband is a man that she left, or the situation didn't work out and she chose to walk away from that person, it still signifies to your brand new husband that he is the second option. It also signifies that as we have taken all of this time to get to this point of where we are, which is we just got married, it signifies that it took for the wedding. We've been through everything in the world that we've been through the relationship, through the engagement. We've planned this whole thing out, so on and so forth, where I and we should be the focus. And through all of that, you never saw it fit to close this chapter. It took the wedding day for you to see fit to close this chapter. So you say since you got back from the honeymoon, he's been acting funny. The reason he's been acting funny is because you haven't taken responsibility. You have minimized what you've done, which makes what he's feeling invalid. Therefore, he's not going to act the same because you have yet to say, I understand where you're coming from, and I apologize. So here's what I think. I think the last thing you want to do, and the last way you want to start off your marriage, is having to fix something. Having to fix something where a person will not apologize because they truly feel that they didn't do anything wrong. other than the fact of letting a old lingering situation go so far to the point that you, on your wedding day, the last thought that you have on your wedding day before you say I do was sending a message to your ex. And that's something that now we have to fix when it's your problem. And you won't even admit that it's a problem. God bless. Show off. What's going on, y'all? Mindsets Volume 8. You ever been having a conversation with someone that you love, care about, and are in a relationship with, and you constantly hear them say, or you hear yourself say, well, at least I such and such. Well, at least I such and such. And that's the response to them saying something that, whether it's spending time together, or we don't never do anything, or we don't never go nowhere, or whatever the case may be, it's a response that says, well, at least I do this, or at least I do that. You do realize that if that is you who's saying that in any relationship, you are giving them the bare minimum. You do understand that if you utilize those words, at least you're giving them bullshit, and you're fully aware that you're giving them some bullshit. And you're basically saying, here, eat it, and be happy with it. And generally, people who utilize that statement generally are looking to that same person, and asking them to present the best version of themselves. And can't understand why things aren't going right, even if they're giving the best versions of themselves. And it's because inevitably, they will draw back. They're not going to keep being the best thing in the world for you while you're handing them some shit and saying, yo, accept this shit because it's all I got to give you. It's all I see that you deserve. If you were to say it like that, which it's in essence what you're saying, at least I'm, what's an example? You know, at least I came and spent 45 minutes with you for your birthday. I did show my face. That kind of shit. Or if you take 4 hours to text someone back and you be like, well, at least I text you. Shit like that. Do you have any idea how ridiculous that shit is? That it's your expectation that someone continue to be your idiot and actually continue to give you the best version of them while you handing them some bullshit, especially when you know and understand that you handing them some bullshit? Well, here it is. The truth is, when you tell someone, well, at least I'm this, or at least I'm so-and-so, you don't deserve what it is that you think that you deserve. Not by what you're given. What you're given does not match what you're asking this person to do. And a lot of times this conversation starts when you point out something that they didn't do to your liking. And then they bring up some shit that say, listen, I'm not giving you the best because I'm not feeling your best. And then the response is, well, at least I did this and at least I did that. And you should basically be happy that I spent a little bit of time with you. And you should be happy that I gave you a little bit. And you should be happy that I gave you a small piece of me. But in return, I respect a large piece. This goes into what I talk about when I say that relationships have become positioning against each other. And you're in it trying to put in the least while trying to take away from the relationship the most. God bless. Show off.
He knows my vibe. He knows how I like to move, and he only sent $30.
Welcome to Mindsets, Volume 9. And I'd like to start off by correcting the young lady. No, he doesn't know how you move. He knows how he moves. He knows the places that he's taken you. He knows what you have been willing to do as long as it was on his dime. And once again, we come across another video where 2-3 women get together and say, hey, let's sit on the couch, put a camera on us, and let's talk about the shit that we don't like. Because we're starting to get curious as to why you don't talk about the men that actually do this dumb shit that y'all are talking about, that you have come to expect. Because just as I said earlier on another video, the question becomes, well, where is that guy? Now, I gotta be real honest with y'all, I really don't believe that story. Because I feel like I've heard it before. Oh.
$30, and I'm just like, at first I'm like, damn, like, am I ungrateful? Like, am I fuck?
Yes, you are. You absolutely are. So we already know what I think about the story because I've heard it before. Different woman, same story, same amount of money. So my question would be, what exactly is it that you do throughout the day that you have time to go sit at a restaurant where the plates cost $70, $80, $90, $100? Because you're not taking no break at lunch. You see, the way that these things work, and as a person who worked at some 5-star restaurants as I was growing up, or whatever the case may be, up until I was like 27 years old, I know that there ain't no food that you are going to get to go, and by the time you get to where you're going, and if you paid $60, $70, by the time you get to where you're going, it still tastes like a $60, $70 steak. So what is it that you're actually taking a lunch break from, Brokey? Because lunch breaks typically are 30 minutes, hour. And you want us to think that you do this shit for yourself regularly. The way y'all talking is like, this is the way I move, this is the way I eat every day. That is the impression that you're trying to give us. That's the impression that you're trying to give him. And it is that toxic tactic of manipulation that moves on to them actually explaining how even more toxic and they're going to be with manipulating the situation again. One of them would go on and say what? Oh, there's no way he would be my boyfriend going forward, but I will continue to go on and get what I can out of him, so on and so forth. And the other one says, you know, I will handle it with grace, and then I will send him the receipt after dinner, after the lunch is done. And I believe the other one said, I will say, I'm going to start saying, someone else sent me $100. There's a war report going on in that room right in front of our eyes. So in this moment, what is the mindset that I'm actually talking about? The mindset that I'm talking about on volume 9 of Mindsets is this. Just because these women have these rainbow room dresses on or whatever the case may be, or these Fashion Nova dresses on or whatever, and they look beautiful. They're pretty as fuck. They're very attractive women. That doesn't mean you're not dealing with a broke person's mindset. You see, the mindset that I'm talking about is, this is on full display, as well as many other things, to show what black men actually are up against. And what we are up against is we have everybody in every corner, including the ones who should be standing right behind me, praying for me, praying over me, and encouraging me. We even have them strategizing against us. So when you start asking why there aren't more prominent men, more prominent black men in America, make sure you factor in conversations like this. Make sure that the same way you accept everything that comes with behind every great man is an even greater woman. Make sure you factor in that it's some of these women who are right behind us, dragging on our coattail and weighing us down. Because she doesn't understand the value of money because she's never had her own. Because just like behind every great man is an even greater woman, if men are so fucked up, so much so that you have to come and make these videos, you're an illustration of the fucked up woman that we have behind us. You see, you can be mad at these dudes for utilizing common sense or whatever the case may be, but that common sense lead us to know that there are a lot more Chick-fil-A days and $5 footlong days in your schedule for the month for lunch than Ruth Chris, if it's on your own dime. Because once again, if this is something that you are used to from the men that you have dealt with, then where are those guys? God bless. Show off. Mindsets, Volume 11. The hardest thing in the world is being the only one in the relationship who knows how to show that you want your partner. Why? Because it's exhausting. Being something that does all of anything in a relationship is the hardest shit in the world. But let's focus on feeling wanted. You know, when you're sitting there and you wait for that person to call every time, you wait for that person to initiate every meetup, you wait for that person to do everything, plan everything. You wait for that person to be everything. When shit is bad, when shit is going fucked up, you wait for that person to be the only one who steps to the table to fix it. When you don't tell that person you love them until they tell you. When you don't miss that person until they have to miss you first. When the only time you show that you care about that person or you're even thinking about that person is after they make it known that they care about you or they're thinking about you. What if I told you that the biggest reason that you can't find love is because there's no love in you? What if the fact that there's no love in you is the reason why you can't recognize when love is right in front of you? After all, love is about taking chances. It's about pushing all your chips to the middle of the table and betting on what you're trying to do with that person. Betting on yourself. Betting on your own choices. Because if you don't believe in that person that's across from you enough to show them that you believe in that person that's across from you, you are already acknowledging that you are wasting your time. Because inevitably, it takes more to loving and being in love than actually just saying it. Your words are an expression, but the biggest expression of love is your actions. The biggest justification of love is your actions towards your partner. There's something about being with someone who's able to be functionally mad, which means even though they're mad at you, they continue to perform all the duties that come with the relationship anyway. They don't get mad and try to deprive you of things that come with everyday life. They don't get mad and decide, I'm not cooking tonight. They don't get mad and say, you do it yourself. They don't get mad and sit on the couch and pout and watch their partner do everything. Until you felt that, you haven't felt love. God bless. Show. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Mindsets. This is volume 13. And this one is a public service announcement. It is a PSA. But it's also a public suggestion announcement as well. And that suggestion is, please stop showing up to my posts with your own personal experiences. You do realize that when you comment some stuff about what your personal experience is, that I may respond. And I'm never going to be disrespectful. I'm never going to be rude. But the one thing I'm always going to be is honest. Now, up front, I'm going to be very honest with y'all, and I'm going to tell y'all that there's actually going to be volume 14 coming right on the heels of this. And the two can be put together. I want y'all to understand why I'm saying this. When you come up and you put in the comments something about your own experience, your own personal life, and you make it public, you open yourself up to criticism and a response. Because because you did it publicly. And because your experience is personal, when I respond to you, it's going to be a situation where you take it personally. So in essence, the whole point of me doing this video is I am telling you who I am. And if you're sensitive and you can't take the conversation, because it is a conversation and it's only a conversation, if you are sensitive to what you have done, please don't show it to my post with your personal stuff. In essence, I am protecting you from my honesty. A lot of you post things about your real life thinking that you're not going to get a person's real life response to what you're saying. I want you to keep in mind that when I say something about you and what you said, when I respond to what you said, I am simply talking about what you said. Don't apply what you said or how I respond to what you said to your entire life. Because 9.5 times out of 10, I don't know you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you've been with the rest of your life. But what I do know and understand is what you have typed and put in my comments. And I am speaking on only what it is that you put in the comments. In other words, before you show up to my post, know who you are. Because if you have an interesting comment, I am always going to be willing to discuss it. But those feelings where you feel like you're taking my response personally, you have in fact opened yourself up to it by putting your personal business up there. Do you realize that? If you don't type what you typed, I wouldn't know that you've actually experienced what you are telling me you experienced. And if you don't type what you typed, then you have no reason to feel bad about a response because there's nothing for me to respond to. God bless. Show. Good afternoon, y'all. Welcome back to volume 14 of Mindsets. I got a special announcement coming up at the end of the video, so stick around, check me out. It's a negative world that we live in, y'all. It's a very, very negative world that we live in. And in some cases, positive stories are not being acknowledged almost at all. I want to talk about self-manipulation of your own mind to place yourself in a negative space. Self-sabotage of your own personal mind. I want to talk about the tactics that are used to do so. A couple of years ago, I came to the conclusion that we live in such a negative world that people try to keep themselves in negative spaces. Because being in a negative space also provides you an excuse for everything that you've done and everything that you might do. With all the talks and the conversations that we have about emotional intelligence, mainly from one demographic to the next demographic, it's weird because the demographic that accuses the most people of not having emotional intelligence are the ones who are real kings at doing this, utilizing certain tactics. I should say the real queens at doing this. And these tactics include paraphrasing, changing up the context of the conversation, the quick switch of being strong to the weak victim, and even strategically changing the subject to make your point of view wrong or to divert attention away from themselves. One of the main ones I see on my page a lot is when the one that I just finished talking about in volume 13. And that's when people share their anecdotal experiences, their own personal experiences, and any response that you have to their own personal experience, they take negatively, personally, and apply it to their whole life. All of these mannerisms essentially say the only way that you are allowed to talk to me is nice, even when I'm fucking up. I don't really want you to care about me. I just want you to pretend. And in all of these cases, these people are manipulating their own mind. It is a self-sabotage by utilizing these tactics to keep themselves in angry spaces. For instance, the paraphrasing, and really every example that I gave, but the paraphrasing mainly. Paraphrasing has become cringeworthy now because you almost know that the person is going to get your shit wrong. You see, there's a special skill that comes with paraphrasing, and when you're paraphrasing, you don't take away from the initial point by comparing two uneven things. Changing one word changes the context of that sentence in a lot of cases if you don't know how to do it correctly. And one thing I'm learning by being on this app is that a lot of people have no skill at paraphrasing. Unless the skill that you're talking about is the ability to take something that didn't quite make them mad enough and change it by changing a word here or a word there or making a subtle little change to what was said in order to take them over the edge of being mad. It's not healthy to want to be in a negative space. We live in a space, in an area, in a time right now where there's so much talk about emotional intelligence. I've found that these tactics are mostly used by a certain demographic. And the hit dogs will holler. Now, am I saying that they're the only ones that use it? No. By the way, I can't forget the other tactic, which is to overtalk someone before they can get their whole point out. All of these examples that I give essentially say that my thought is more important than yours. Talk to me nicely. Talk to me the way that I want you to talk to me. And I live this scripted life in my mind, and I need you to follow that script you know nothing about. Don't tell me how you really feel. Tell me only what I want to hear. Lie to me. And ladies and gentlemen, with those lies that you want to accept, those lies that you almost require in your life, love is on life support here. And I'm not just talking about romantic love. I'm talking about the love of family. I'm talking about the love of your friends. I'm talking about real, genuine love, no matter what package it comes in, no matter what relationship it comes in. Because inevitably, your best friends are going to get fed up with your shit and tell you the truth. Your family are going to get fed up with your shit and tell you the truth. Your partner are going to get fed up with your shit and tell you the truth. Your job is going to get fed up with your shit and tell you the truth. Your professors are going to get fed up with your shit and tell you the truth. And God is going to get fed up with you and tell you the truth, or at least show it to you. I encourage you to be healthy with yourself and stop sabotaging your own mind. Stop self-sabotaging. Stop manipulating yourself to stay in a negative space. It's not good for you. God bless. The announcement is that once I complete the next one, which will be volume 15, I will be taking volume 1 through 15 and putting them all onto one video and putting it on my YouTube. My link is in the bio, in my bio. Go check it out. It's plenty of videos. It's probably over 400, 500 videos on there that if you get some time and some space, check out some of the videos. You may agree with it, you may not. I'd love for you to chime in one way or the other. I encourage y'all at least to go on, and once I complete volume 15, go on and check out volume 1 through 15 all on one video. God bless. Show off. Good morning, y'all. Welcome to Mindsets volume 15. Once again, I'd like to remind y'all that once I finish this video, hopefully sometime today, I will be combining all of the mindset videos onto one video and putting them on YouTube. like for y'all to go check it out. I will post the link to the actual video, and I hope y'all check it out. Give it a watch. The link to the YouTube is already in the bio. Check me out. Ladies and gentlemen, pride and submission do not go together. There are a lot of you ladies who, in the beginning of relationships, you are out here and you are saying, listen, I want to be a submissive woman. I can be a submissive woman. You have to earn that from me. And I get it. We understand that. But at what point do you give me the keys? Is that within the discussion? At what point do I know to look to you, shutting off the lights to being prideful and being this strong, independent person, and now buying in to the plan? You see, having pride gives you the ability to challenge someone or something. And being submissive is the direct opposite of that. A lot of you manipulate yourselves into believing that submission is about control, when submission is actually the total opposite of that. Submission is being willing to follow without being forced. You make the choice and the decision of your own free will to follow someone simply because you believe in them. And when there is that pride, when do you turn that off? In order to be a submissive woman and a submissive wife. There are millions of videos out there talking about, I want the soft girl life. And there are millions of videos out there talking about what she is and what she isn't, and mostly what she isn't willing to do. There are thousands upon thousands of conversations about that on a daily basis, whether we're on this app, whether we're on YouTube, whether we're on any social media. There are thousands upon thousands of conversations about this very subject. But we never dive into the fact that it's pride that holds us back from coming together. I don't know if people recognize it, but strong and soft are not two words that you typically put together. As a matter of fact, I can't think of any context where those two words fit in the same sentence right now. But somehow, some way, it seems to be some unobtainable thing that women are coming for. The strong, independent, soft girl. Upon hearing these things, we say, hey, why don't you be hard to the world so that you can be soft at home? The first video I addressed this morning was a video of a woman telling us, men, exactly who we are, but then saying that we can chime in on who you are. When it comes to your relationship, you are going to have to pick one. Either you want to be strong and independent, which means it has to match up with how you live your life. Expectations of being given something should go all the way out the door. Or you're going to have to be soft and feminine if you're going to be in a relationship and be taken care of and be added to. Because the fact of the matter is, if you're playing both roles within your relationship at your convenience, then the man is playing a guessing game. The man does not like playing games. Next thing you know, you're talking about he's too intimidated because I'm too strong. No, he just decided to leave